Hello, welcome to Laura's View in Tarot 2. Tonight we're going to take a look at Shanghai, and probably, thankfully, we'll be doing this from a remote location. Shanghai is in the third week of extremely strict lockdowns. It's not the only city in China, it's simply the largest one that's in lockdown. And reports coming out of Shanghai are horrifying, to say the least. But I thought to myself, in the Ukraine, I am convinced that with the help of mainstream media, that there is a lot of misreporting of what's happening there, atrocities that are happening from the I don't think I can say the next word. Anyway, the party in Ukraine that has significant ties back to Germany and another time of conflict are being blamed on Russians. And I'm not saying either side is blameless. Please believe me on that. But what I'd like to ask the cards tonight, the reports that are coming out about conditions in Shanghai, are they being exaggerated? Will the universe please tell us if they are accurate or being exaggerated? And then I'd like to ask, is there going to be a 90-day, what will the situation look like in 90 days compared to today? This was a hard one to do reads about because reading about children being taken forcibly from their families, people dying at the doors of hospitals because they require them to test negative before they'll let them in. Families worried that their elderly family members have starved to death because all the staff people in a nursing facility are on quarantine. It's hard to read about. It's hard to know about. So let's ask the universe if the reports we're getting are accurate or exaggerated, and what the 90-day outlook is for not just Shanghai, but all of the cities. They have over 400 million people on some sort of lockdown currently. So let's see what the cards have to say. Let's take a look at this spread. Our question, notice please that there's a lot of pentacles that are showing up in the top part of the spread, and then we move into wands and a major arcana card. I'll talk a little bit more about what that might signify as we go along. So we're wondering if the reporting has been accurate that's coming out of Shanghai. And while we don't have a typical yes card, which would be possibly an ace or something like that, we are getting some confirmation here that it's accurate. Nothing about trickery or inaccuracy. And this card is about families and multicultural, multi-generational connections. And certainly that kind of typifies what I know of the culture in China, that multi-generational families take care of one another and live in close proximity. And they're suffering. This is a card of poverty, hardship, and suffering, at least when addressing a question like we've asked tonight. So let's look at the present here. The foundations were laid for the situation. And that kind of bears out what we heard. Shanghai had strict lockdowns a couple of years ago. Let's see if, and again, at that time, it was a COVID zero, and that's still what their platform is right now. Let's see how that's working out for them and what the outlook might be. Now the outlook is better for them. Again, as I always say, look at our cards here from past, present to future. So we've got the poverty and hardship. This one kind of explaining that this is based on some policies that possibly weren't the best, and they're having a little trouble, possibly because of pride, maybe because of things happening in the background that we're not allowed to know about, loosening those up. Although I do believe world awareness and world condemnation of these policies do help affect change. The Queen of Wands is a very loving energy, and it's an optimistic card. So if those of you watching this have loved ones who are caught up in this lockdown madness, it does look like it is going to, within 90 days, be somewhat better. Now, how will that come about? We have a very hard work card here. If you look at this card closely, okay, he's determined. He is not concerned about the overwhelming odds, and there are overwhelming odds facing people who are trying to lead their lives while running this marathon of regulations and lack of autonomy. And it's impacted by the Devil card. And the Devil card speaks about poor choices, in this case, in a layout like this. And I believe that those in authority in China are seeing that they've made some poor choices. Maybe their pride is making it a little difficult to back down. I do think it's going to be improving. I hope it does. Now, for those of us watching a show like this, what can we do? Well, first of all, don't put your head in the sand like Disney did with their Disney Shanghai. They have not said a thing about this. Oh no. So picture this resolving in the best possible way. Just ask the universe for the best possible outcome for these people suffering under these measures. And they're a long way away. All we can do is send our thoughts, prayers, and wishes, but those are powerful. I don't care what anybody tries to tell you. So please, and what can it hurt? What can it hurt? And if it helps something, wow. Okay, well, that's it for tonight with this read. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, stay safe. Now, I told you I would be talking a little bit after I say stay safe and good night. And the thing I want to tell you about myself tonight, it's one thing only, and it's important. I have a private, personal faith and relationship with my living Creator. It is strong and I won't deny it. But it doesn't make me unwilling to know that there are other faith paths that can be taken, and some of them are valid. The one thing you will never hear me advocate for is for any kind of worship that is done at the sacrifice of others for blood or product or what have you. And I am not a fan of organized religion. I think the best sharing of faith happens around a campfire, two people talking over a cup of tea, conversations you just pick up. Those are when we can have those, say those words that make someone think and make a decision that changes their life. So that's what religion is to me. It has nothing to do with structures, church, anything like that anymore. But it does have to do with faith and prayer and a belief that works for me. And I hope you find one that works for you. Good night.